Hello, welcome back to another episode of Cooking with Love. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Today, we're gonna cook black eyed peas and cornbread from scratch. So, because, it takes a little while to cook the cornbread and the black eyed peas, I'm gonna start. And then once it's finished, I'm gonna come back like I did last time and show you all how I plate up. So I hope everyone is having a fantastic day. I have already taken the initiative to put, good morning, welcome, put the, what did I put in here? I put the flour in here already. So I'm doubling the recipe because I have a pretty large cast iron skillet I'm using today. And so the recipe I'm using is going to require double to fill this up. So I'm going to start off by heating my cast iron skillet. I'm going to use Crisco on this, and a lot of people don't use Crisco, but this is my grandmother's recipe, so that's what I use. So I'm going to grab a spoon, and so we're supposed to put a tablespoon originally in here, but because we are doubling, I'm gonna do, oh no, it says 2, so I'm gonna put like 3, just because I don't want it to be like too much. And so I'm going to take that. You know what? I better listen to the recipe because it'll be all right. So I use 4. So I did 4 tablespoons of Crisco. And I'm going to pop this in the oven. And put your spoon to the side. I'm going to put that in the oven. Cast iron skillet going in the oven. In the oven, I set my oven to 400 degrees. So we have that started. So like I said, I'm doubling the recipe. So for the flour, it originally calls for, let's see, 1 cup of flour. So I put 2. And so cornmeal, my grandmother always says use yellow cornmeal. So that's what I do. And we're going to take, how much cornmeal does it say? I think it's supposed to be 1 for the original. Yep. Oh no, I was supposed to use white. You guys. I was in the store like, let me make sure. And I messed around and got the wrong. Oh gosh. Anyway, it's okay. It's just a color difference. But I don't know, for some reason in my head it tastes better with whatever. It's okay. We're going to use 2 cups. So if you make this at home, I guess it really depends on your preference, but it's normally white. Because I'm like, wait a minute, I got the wrong thing again. Rushing in the store. How about you guys yesterday? Let me tell you guys what I did. How about I left the turkey tails in the car? And I was like, oh, maybe because it's cold where I live. And I'm like, maybe it's still good. No, it was like mold. I don't know, mold. Because, of course, the car is hot from... I didn't have it in the trunk. If I would have left it in the trunk like I normally do, I would have been fine. But rushing, rushing does not benefit me. Trying to do too much at once. Take your time. So, that's 2 cups of cornmeal. If you do it at home, use white. And that's just my preference. And I wish I had some in there because I would definitely change it. So, it's supposed to be a pinch of salt. So, I'm going to use the pink Himalayan salt. I'm going to do this So, 1 full, maybe a little bit half. So, and then we're supposed to do, you would think I would know this recipe by heart, but I don't. So, I'm going to put all my dry ingredients in first. So, this is baking powder. And I'm going to use... This is a tablespoon, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's the last of my baking powder. So, 4 tablespoons if you're doubling this. You know what? Honestly, though, I do 4 about every time. So, you can keep it that. It won't hurt it at all. So, I need a fork. I'm going to mix this up, make sure my dry ingredients are mixed in well. And I'm going to do that Make sure they're all blended together. Hopefully you guys can, okay, that should be better. So you all can see, just mixing that all together. Dang, I can't believe I did that. That's all right. I'll make some more and show you all how it looks with the, of course it's just a color difference, but just so you all can see. I'm making sure I mix all that in there. You know what? I'm gonna put just a pinch more of salt. So that was like 2.5. And now I'm gonna put my eggs in there. It says original recipe is 2 large eggs, so we're gonna use 4. Mix that in. 3. I hope everyone is having a fantastic day. And that's 4. So close that up. Put this to the side to throw away. And what did I do with my buttermilk? Let me grab that real quick. We'll be right back. Okay, so we're using buttermilk because that's what my grandmother's recipe calls for. So it says it says 1 cup of buttermilk. So because we're doubling, we're gonna use 2. And if you haven't cooked with buttermilk, it has like a sour smell to it. So don't be alarmed. Of course, check your date. If it smells like rancid, then don't use it. So we're gonna start mixing this in. We got liquid ingredients. And one thing, after our pan heats up, we're gonna take that oil, make sure it's poured. Thank you, welcome. Hey Trey. We're gonna make sure that we coat our skillet with the oil, and then we're also going to put some of the oil in here. So we're just mixing that up gently. You don't want to be too rough, like in whipping it. Like, don't do that. But you want to make sure that, you know, it's evenly, you know, it doesn't look crazy. And if you need like a little bit more buttermilk because it looks like way too thick, then by all means, that's fine too. So I'm going to put a little bit more in there. Don't overdo it because they'll make it too liquidy. You don't want to do that. So for those who missed it, we're doing black eyed peas and cornbread today. And I'm going to start it because it's going to take the cornbread at least like 30 minutes to cook. And then so I'm going to come back after my black eyed peas are done and show you all the end result and how I plate up. So, but it's going to be a bowl because it's black eyed peas. Who doesn't want their black eyed peas to be in a bowl? And if you don't eat peas, like black eyed peas or beans, like, I encourage you to try them. Like, they're so good. And I guess because I grew up with, you know, my now 98-year-old grandmother, she's 96. And so for me, it's like always old school dishes and, you know, don't get me wrong, I love some new stuff too. I'm definitely a foodie at heart. But listen, I am here for the beans, and I used to love my grandmother's, what was it that she used to cook in pot? Chicken and rice. Oh my gosh, it used to be so good. I'm going to check our pot pan real quick, and it is hot. So I'm going to use one of these to get this out. Okay, as you can see, hello. It is melted, so we're gonna take that and roll that around our pan. You want to be extremely careful with this because I don't know, in my head, cast irons are just always hotter than other pans. But you want to coat your skillet, making sure You got as much of that on the sides as you possibly can. Alright, and then you're going to take, see it's coated, and you're going to take, no, it's Crisco. You're going to take some of that and pour it in. Not all of it, you want to leave some. And I'm going to mix that in there so you all can see. And I'm going to use a spatula to get this out because to me it just helps get all of as much out as possible. So let me use my favorite one. Let me move you all closer so you all can see. Let's see. Hi, welcome. So I'm going to move you all closer so you can see. Okay, there we go. I am making cornbread from scratch and black eyed peas. So we're starting with the cornbread. So we're going to take our mixture. As you can see, it's not really super stiff. It's not too liquidy. And we're going to pour that in there. And I'll be posting the full recipe on my YouTube channel. So for anyone who missed it. And again, that's Monique Gigi. If you're not following me on there, please do. Please, as they say, like, share, and subscribe. Share it with anyone who, you know, if you were blessed by this or know someone who, you know, could benefit from, you know, watching the meals that I post or the conversations that I talk about. Please feel free to do that. And I like to spread it out some, so it's, you know, it's a little cuter. And of course, because the oil is hot, it's gonna start cooking the sides up, and that is what you want. And this is gonna go in the oven. And I like crispy sides, so. I am a lover of bread, you guys, and it's so hard for me, like, sometimes not to eat bread. Hello. I missed what you said, I'm sorry. So now we're going to start our black eyed peas. So, trusty Crockpot, as usual. You guys who watch know I love my Crockpot. Like, it is my go-to favorite thing to cook with. And my favorite seasoning, my Tony's. So, I'm going to turn this on high. I've been soaking my beans. One of my friends told me that soaking them actually makes them cook faster. And I was like, yes, I'm here for that. So I soaked them. It's not a long time this time, but, you know, hey, something is better than nothing. So I have my black eyed peas. This is quite a bit, but yeah. So I have them. There's water in here, even though it doesn't look like it. And so I'm going to pour those in. And I'm going to take my, of course, like you all, I just told you all, I ended up leaving the turkey tails in the car. I don't know how I did that, but whatever. You know, that was like $4.47 wasted, but who's counting money? But yeah, so this is like the usual that, you know, I've done a bunch of times with all other beans. So I'm going to put those in there and season. Remember, at the beginning, don't over season because, I mean, granted, if you do, you can put water in it to kind of thin it out. But, you know, you don't, I think it's just best not to overdo it at the beginning. But yeah, so one of the things, I'm going to grab some water real quick because it definitely needs some more water. Sorry, you guys. I'll be right back. But yeah, so God is like really funny and has like an amazing sense of humor. If you don't know that, as they say, like try telling God your plans and watch what happens. So like God is just really funny. So I was talking to, she's like my little sister, so I was talking to her yesterday and kind of find out like we're going through like very similar situations. And it's something because even though you know you're not going through something alone, like there are other people in the world that are going through the like exact same thing you're going through, it makes such a difference to actually talk about those things with someone who's like in the midst of it as well. And it like really blessed me yesterday talking to her, and like I don't know, I think we were on the phone for like a couple of hours, but I got off the phone like feeling like so amazing and just appreciative and just laughing at like how funny God is. And it was just like, wow, God, you know, like I felt so alone in it, but like I'm definitely not alone. And it just, both of us were laughing like, you have no idea, but obviously both of us have an idea of like, because what we're going through. And I was just like, wow, God, like you're so awesome, you know. And it just made me further appreciative of, you know, growth and trial and error and the being uncomfortable. And that's one of the things that we were talking about is like when God is growing you to another level, it is definitely uncomfortable, but it is for your benefit. It is not, and not just for your benefit, but for the benefit of others, because when you allow the Lord to use you and help you and grow you to where He wants you to be, it is automatically going to bless someone else. There will be someone else who's going to come along who needs your testimony, who needs to hear what you've been through, who needs to be encouraged. You know, I've been talking to my aunt a lot recently, and she has really like blessed me so much. And it's something because a lot of times people go through things. Thank you. A lot of times people go through things and they don't share what they've been through, and they keep it to themselves. And it's not out there to help someone. You know, we have to be willing to share our testimonies, because a lot of times we can prevent someone from going through something unnecessarily, you know, or just to encourage them to let them know they're not alone in whatever they're going through. No matter if you directly relate or inadvertently relate, or you know someone who has, but I just encourage you to, you know, be transparent and share your testimony with others as the Lord leads you. Because you definitely want to be mindful, because sometimes God is calling you to share everything with everyone. But, you know, it just really blessed me. And so before I get on any post, I always pray first and, you know, ask the Lord what He wants me to talk about. And sometimes, you know, I may not have the exact thing He wants me to talk about, and sometimes I might. But I just thank God, because prayer is so important. And also spending time with Him. And I was listening to Psalmist Rain. If you don't know who she is and you haven't listened to her, I encourage you to listen to her. If you don't have Apple Music or Google Music, her CD is on YouTube. Please listen. I promise you, it will bless you. But like, listen to that. One of the songs that came up was Commune With You. And it just reminded me of no matter what's going on, no matter if you're getting your way, no matter if you're not, no matter if you like feel amazing, and if you don't, it is so important to commune with God. And yes, she's so awesome. And spend time with Him and let Him know that regardless of if you get what's in His hand or not, if you get the blessings that you really want right now, it does not matter, because what's more important is that our relationship with God, that we're communing with Him, that we're spending time with Him, and letting Him know that it doesn't matter if I get let's say you want the big mansion. It doesn't matter if you get that or not. Lord, I just want my relationship with You to be where You want it to be. And I want to be used by You to help others. You know, a lot of times we want things for ourselves, and, you know, the mentality of the family, my four no more, or it's all about me and whatever I want. But it's so much bigger than that. And I encourage you, if you're in a place of not really, you know, caring about others as you feel like you should, or spending time with the Lord as you feel like you should, I encourage you, even if you start off by taking 5 minutes a day, you know, and just, hey God, I'm dedicating these 5 minutes a day to You right now until I can build up and get where I need to be. God, I just give You that. You know, it may be the last of your night, you know, or the beginning of your morning, and I encourage you to build that up, because it's all about Him and our relationship with Him and growing to where He's called for us to be. And if we aren't there, you know, we should always be striving. You know, it's always another level to go. And God is just so amazing, infinite in His wisdom and all of His ways, that He will meet you exactly where you are. And I think a lot of times we get discouraged, and it's like, oh, well, you know, this isn't happening. And God's like, yeah, that might not be happening, but what about us? What about our relationship? What about You coming closer to Me? What about You coming closer to know Me? You know, God wants some more of us. A lot of times we put Him off to the side like He's leftovers. And one of the things that has been on my mind lately is like, I'm so dedicated to like not wanting to fail my friends. You know, like if I say I'm going to be there, I'm like going to be there. And come hell or high water, I'm trying to figure out a way. And it was like the Holy Spirit was asking me, like, what about me? You know, you're going hard and making sure you're there for them. But what about our relationship? You know, what about the time you're supposed to spend with me? And so I've had to, you know, repurpose my time and spend more time with the Lord and letting him know that he's important to me. And that's so important that we spend that time with him. Like I said, you can start off 5 minutes a day. God, I dedicate these 5 minutes to you. I need you to help me, grow me, Lord. And sometimes we just need to shut up. And that, listen, I'll be the first to say thank you. That, you know, a lot of times I'm like, got this and got that, and I'm praying for this person, praying for that person. And sometimes God is like, be quiet. Like, I want you to listen, because we have to remember prayer is a two-way street. You know, God talks to us and we talk, you know, he talks back. He talks to us and we talk to him. You know, it's listen and talk, listen and talk. And are you actively listening to what the Lord is telling you? Because a lot of times some people feel like, oh, I don't hear God's voice. But yeah, you do. Sometimes it's that innate gut feeling. Some people, it's like an audible voice, like they, you know, it's loud. And sometimes his voice sounds like your voice. And a lot of times it's like, wait, I know I didn't come up with that. I wouldn't tell myself that. You know, sometimes you want to go do what you want to do. Always says, take it to the Lord and leave. That's so true. You know, a lot of times we have these situations like, oh, God, I need you to fix this, and we take it to him, but a lot of times we take it right back. And it's like, oh, I'm going to leave it at the altar, and God, I know you got this. And then here we come like 5 minutes, like, oh, God, you ain't moved fast enough. Here, I got this. And God's like, no, trust me. I have you. And I'm growing in another level of trust right now in different areas in my life. And it's like I feel like I'm beautifully broken, if that makes sense to anyone. It's like I'm in a place of brokenness before him, but just laying it all out and just giving him whatever he wants and needs, and realizing that a lot of times things aren't going to go my perfect way, but it's God's perfect way. And it's beautiful also because it's like he's molding and shaping me into who exactly he wants me to be. And I'm loving it, even though it's tough at times, and it's like, oh, God, here's something else. And God's like, you asked for this, you know, when you ask for his perfect will and for him to prune you and help you. And it's like, yeah, and nobody said it was going to be easy. Nobody said that, you know, it was going to be a one and done thing. You know, God wants to perfect what he's doing, and he wants it to be exactly how he wants it. And sometimes it takes a little bit more time, but I'm thankful I'm in a place of willingness and openness. And I just encourage you to do the same, to just allow him to do whatever he wants to do through you. You know, no matter how difficult it may seem, you know, growth is not comfortable. You know, but it is so necessary to wherever God is taking you in your life. You may be called to go to the nations, meaning across the, you know, country, or, you know, wherever in Africa, Asia, wherever it may be. Or you may be called to the nations right in your backyard. Wherever it is that you're called to do and you're destined to be and living your purpose, I just encourage you to allow yourself to be beautifully broken, you know, before the Lord, and allowing him to do whatever he needs to do in you, because you never know, you know, who the Lord wants to use you to bless. Yes, growth is so needed. You know, a lot of times we think, oh, I've arrived and I'm here and I got it together. And God's like, huh? You think you do? Let me show you something. You know, and it's not for our demise, is for his glory. You know, and I think if we will remember that it's all into his glory and it's all about him getting the glory out of it, I think that we would better deal with situations and know, like, okay, this isn't going right, but what is the Lord teaching me in this? What am I supposed to learn? God, how do you, and that's another thing I've been purposing to do, and I'm so grateful that Holy Spirit has been reminding me to do this. And when situations happen, I'm like, okay, God, how do you want me to respond? How should I pray about this? What is it that you exactly want me to do? And so I'm grateful that I'm in a place to be in that mind frame, reminded by the Holy Spirit, because before, when I tell you, like, I would be like, first of all, what you're not going to do, and this is, you know, just going there with people versus, you know, and I was so quick to, and this is another thing that I think we as people need to get out of the habit of going to people before we go to God. I was definitely that person. And sometimes it's still like an innate thing, like, oh, let me call. And God's like, will you talk to me first? Like, they only can prophesy, like, people can only prophesy in part. they can only help you in part. But what is it that the Lord is trying to speak to you in that moment that you need for that moment, you know? And so that's been a reminder for me to just rely on him. Yes, take it to God. You know, he's just so awesome. And it's something because in this season of being beautifully broken, as I'm calling it, I'm growing more and more in love with him daily. And I think that is the most beautiful part about it all. I'm not going to cry. But it's just a blessing. And I'm grateful to be in this place with him and all of him and what he's doing and what he's done and what he's about to do. And, you know, God is just so amazing. And like I said, I just encourage you all to just give it all to him and allow him to do whatever he wants to do. And though it may not be easy at times, it can be really tough. And it's funny because I went through this season, I think I told you all before, of like, oh, I'm not gonna cry and I'm tough. And God's like, if you don't let that stuff out, like it was hindering me from going forward in some areas in my life. And it's so important. It's okay to cry. Now, I'm not saying cry for 10 hours or anything like that, you know. Yes, some people don't understand how real he is, you know, but I just encourage you to, if you need to cry, cry. It is okay. Wipe your tears. Crying is cleansing. And I had to learn that because I was like, oh, I'm a crybaby about everything lately. But it's okay because it's all right to be beautifully broken before him, because nobody's going to take care of your heart like God will. Nobody's going to care about you like he will. Nobody wants your perfect purpose for you as he is predestined, because he is the creator. Like, he created you for your destiny. So, of course, he knows exactly how it should be manifested. And yes, crying is therapy. You know, and it's just, I feel grateful to be in this place right now with the Lord and allowing him to do whatever he needs to do and being unashamed of where I am in him. And also to be an encouragement to others. You know, sometimes you gotta lay it out there and be open and transparent. You know, life is not easy. Being a single mom is not easy, but God is taking me through it. He always has a ram in the bush for us. He's always blessing us, and I am so completely grateful, you know, for not only how he keeps us, but how he's growing, you know, not just myself, but I see changes in my daughter. And it's like, wow, God, thank you so much. And not that, you know, we're so hard off or anything like that, but it's like when God brings you to another level, and especially another level of peace, it is none like the peace of the Lord. And joy, let me tell you, better get a revelation. So we're gonna finish up our black eyed peas. I'm gonna end this. Is getting a little lengthy, and I gotta come back later and do my show you all the finished product. So we have our black eyed peas, and we'll move this closer so you all can see. So of course that needs a little bit of water. So I'm gonna pour some water in here, and you wanna cover it, and you don't have to cover it too much because like, it needs to like be right over the top, because it is going to cook down, and it's just easier to put more water in than out. And again, I'm going to use my favorite seasoning. You guys know my Tony's. Like, literally, this is probably, I very rarely use anything else like to season my food. And if I use something else, it's because it's a specific dish that, you know, just requires that. But 9 times out of 10, I'm still gonna put this on there. So again, like, don't overly season. I like to like coat the top, because you can always add later, versus, you know, if you have to, you can put water in. So I coated the top, and now I'm gonna stir that in. It's weird doing this with my left hand. Like, I do other stuff with my left hand, but like not stirring. So I use this one, so it doesn't have a lot of salt in it. So I don't know if you've used that one. So that's why I prefer this one. I don't use the regular one. Like, it's been sitting up there forever because it's way too salty. And yeah, so we're gonna cook that. I have this on high, and we're gonna let that cook, and I'll be back a little later with the finished product. And I pray you all have an amazing day until I see you again. And I pray this not only fed your soul, I pray that it fed your stomach, and God bless, and you all be great. Bye.